Banana Cavendish. This is the one almost everyone pictures when they hear the word banana. It dominates grocery stores across the world, accounting for roughly half of all bananas grown globally. The Cavendish replaced the Gros Michel as the commercial standard in the 1950s after a fungal disease wiped out most Gros Michel plantations. It has a mild, sweet flavor, a peel that starts firm and yellow and gradually develops brown spots as it fully ripens, and a texture that holds up well during long-distance shipping. That combination of durability and consistency made it the dominant choice for large-scale agriculture, and it has stayed there ever since. Gros Michel. Before the Cavendish took over, this was the banana. Larger, creamier, and widely described as having a richer flavor than anything available today, the Gros Michel was the commercial banana of the early 20th century. Many people who grew up eating it claim it tasted closer to artificial banana flavoring than the Cavendish does. And that is actually true, since most banana-flavored candy was originally modeled after the Gros Michel. Panama disease, caused by a soil fungus called Fusarium oxysporum, spread through plantations so efficiently that producers had little choice but to abandon it entirely. Small quantities are still grown in certain regions, but it has never come close to reclaiming its former place in global markets. Red banana. The red banana looks unusual at first glance, with its deep maroon to purple skin, but it is more than just a visual curiosity. Grown primarily in East Africa, Asia, and parts of South America, it tends to be shorter and plumper than the Cavendish. The flesh inside is cream to pale pink, and the flavor is noticeably sweeter, sometimes with a faint hint of raspberry. It also ripens differently. The skin does not turn fully yellow the way most people expect, which has led to many perfectly ripe red bananas being mistakenly passed over. Nutritionally, it carries higher levels of beta-carotene and vitamin C than its yellow counterpart. Plantain. The plantain is a banana, botanically speaking, but it occupies an entirely different role in the kitchen. Raw, it is starchy and almost savory, with very little of the sweetness associated with dessert bananas. It is a staple food across West Africa, the Caribbean, and Central America, where it is treated more like a vegetable than a fruit. Depending on its ripeness, it can be fried into tostones when still green and firm, or cooked into sweet, caramelized slices when the skin has gone almost completely black. That range, from savory to sweet based solely on ripeness, is part of what makes it so versatile in traditional cuisines. Not all bananas are meant to be eaten raw, and the plantain is probably the clearest example of that. Lady finger banana. Also known as the sugar banana or date banana in different parts of the world, the ladyfinger is noticeably smaller and thinner than the Cavendish. It grows in tight clusters and is particularly popular in Australia and Southeast Asia. The flavor is sweeter and less tangy, with a honey-like quality that comes through especially when the fruit is fully ripe. The peel is thinner, which makes it bruise easily and limits how far it can be shipped without damage. That fragility has kept it largely regional, but in the areas where it thrives, many people consider it the superior eating banana. Burro banana. The burro is a chunky, blocky banana with distinctly squared-off edges along its length. It is shorter and thicker than most commercial varieties, and its flavor profile is notably different. Tangier, with a lemony sharpness that sets it apart from the straightforward sweetness of the Cavendish. When underripe, it has a firm, almost starchy texture. As it ripens fully, the flesh softens, and the flavor mellows into something richer. It is commonly found in Mexican and Central American markets, and is frequently used in cooking, though it holds its own as a fresh fruit as well. Manzano banana. The manzano, sometimes called the apple banana, is short, plump, and turns a bright yellow with dark spots when fully ripe. Unlike most bananas, it develops a slight tartness as it matures, often described as a cross between a banana and a strawberry or apple, which explains the name. It is popular across Latin America and parts of Asia, and it tends to be eaten when the skin looks overripe by conventional standards. That visual cue trips people up because many assume it has gone bad, when in fact it has just reached its peak. The flavor at that stage is concentrated and layered in a way most commercial bananas never quite achieve. Blue Java banana. The blue Java is unusual enough that it has picked up a nickname in some circles, the ice cream banana. Before it ripens, the skin takes on a silvery blue tint caused by a natural waxy coating. As it matures, it fades to pale yellow. The texture of the flesh is exceptionally creamy, almost custard-like, which is where the ice cream comparison comes from. The flavor is mild and often described as faintly vanilla-like, though that quality varies depending on growing conditions and ripeness. It is more cold-tolerant than most banana varieties, which has made it popular in Hawaii and parts of the Pacific, as well as in cooler subtropical regions that could not otherwise sustain banana cultivation. Fehi banana. The Fehi is one of the more ancient banana types, grown primarily in the Pacific Islands, particularly in Polynesia and parts of Melanesia. It belongs to a different botanical group than most familiar varieties, which helps explain why it looks and behaves so differently. The skin ranges from orange to deep red, and the flesh inside is orange or yellow, unlike the pale cream of nearly every commercial banana. It is almost always cooked rather than eaten raw, typically roasted or boiled, and it plays a significant cultural role in the communities where it has been cultivated for centuries. Its high beta-carotene content gives it both its color and a nutritional profile that stands apart from the more widely distributed types. Goldfinger banana. The Goldfinger was developed in Honduras through a deliberate breeding program aimed at creating a banana resistant to the same Panama disease that devastated the Gros Michel and now threatens the Cavendish. It has shown strong resistance to both the original strain and the newer tropical race 4 variant that has been spreading through Cavendish plantations in recent decades, though that resistance is not absolute. The flavor is mild with a slight apple note, and the texture is firmer than most. It was introduced to Australia and parts of Europe as a commercial option, though it has faced resistance from markets long accustomed to the Cavendish. Its real significance may be less about flavor and more about what it represents, a possible direction forward if the Cavendish ever faces the same fate as the banana it replaced.